Hi everyone, I'm actually outside on the front porch right before the eclipse starts. It's starting to get a little dark right now, but I wanted to be sure that we got this video in. If you're like me, you have been seeing all over the internet, all over the podcast, these so-called gender wars. And I want us to know it is not of God. God is not pleased. And so let's establish a foundation when it comes to this faulty thinking, when it comes to the gender wars. There's lots to talk about, but let's just start here with the foundation. First of all, let's lay down the gauntlet and just establish the fact that God created male and female. Male and female, He created them. So I've come over to Bible Gateway, which is a website that has the Bible and all of its versions, and you can look at it. So I'm in Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. This is a New King James Version. I want you to recognize that we're starting from the very beginning. Genesis, first book of the Bible, very first chapter. And this is what it says. So God created man in His own image. In the image of God, He created him. Male and female, He created them. I also like the way the New Living Translation words this. So God created human beings in His own image. In the image of God, He created them. Male and female, He created them. And so based on what we've just read, we can see that God intentionally and divinely designed male and female genders. There is 100% nothing wrong with being created either gender. Clearly, God sees value in both male and female. This is the way He designed it. All right, now that we've established that God created both male and female, I want us to think about this part of our foundational truths here. God was so intentional about creating male and female that He duplicated it in nature. You recall the saying, what's good for the goose is good for the gander? Well, the goose really can refer to male or female, but the gander is a male. So the goose and the gander, both, part of the geese. The lion and the lioness, the buck and the doe. Throughout nature, there is male and female. That's significant. He didn't just make us male and female. He duplicated it throughout nature. With that in mind, I wonder, in nature, do you see any gender wars? Is the mare and the stallion out there having it out and just talking junk about each other and bashing each other? I just highly doubt it. Clearly we're not speaking the same language, but I don't think that's a thing. Occasionally there might be some, I had my dogs, they would do some sniping, but, other than that, I don't see that it's normal in nature for the genders to be at each other's throats. The animals, at a basic level, understand the need for each other. A third thing I want to say as we lay down a foundation of establishing God's design for both men and women, that this gender war is not necessary for one and against God's plan. One thing I want us to realize is God doubled down on the male-female design. Now, what do I mean by that? So we know in Genesis, the creation story, right? We talked about initially in the first point that God created male and female. Male and female, He created them. But if you recall, you get just a little further in the Old Testament and we get to the story of Noah. And by this time, when Noah is living, people have gotten on God's nerves. We've gotten on His nerves so bad that He's ready to destroy the earth because He cannot find anyone that's righteous. Well, what did He tell Noah to do? Let's go to Scripture. All right, we're back on Bible Gateway. This is what God said to Noah in Genesis 7 1 through 3, New Living Translation. When everything was ready, the Lord said to Noah, "Go into the boat with all your family, for among all the people of the earth, I can see that you alone are righteous. Take with you 7 pairs, male and female, of each animal I have approved for eating and for sacrifice, and take 1 pair of each of the others. Also take 7 pairs of every kind of bird. There must be a male and a female in each pair to ensure that all life will survive on the earth after the flood." So we see here that God wanted a fresh start after the flood. Well, he was destroying the earth with the flood so that there could be a fresh start. But this model he kept. When he started over, he made sure to continue a male and a female. He doubled down on his initial design from the very beginning with creation back in Genesis. He doubled down on the male and female model. He thought it was worth preserving, and we should think it's worth preserving too. Right, a fourth point I want to make about just laying a foundation with the gender war. We literally would die without one another. God went to so much effort to preserve species, to ensure that there was both male and female brought upon Noah's Ark. But, we're not living in a time of Noah's Ark right now. But if we did not have both male and female, none of us literally would be here. And if we were to have posterity and legacy and just reproduce our own species, we still need male and female. And so this gender war is counterproductive. It is self-destructive. And most importantly, God hates it. Now, I'll spend some more time talking about just some crazy ideas we have around gender, and getting us realigned with what God says about gender, and just understanding that really we are putting more emphasis on it than he does. And that's the root of our problem.